I'd like to say hello to those that will check this out during the stream and those who watch later on. Um, it was my intention to cover the embassy story in Jerusalem, but unexpected events kind of perpetuated me to refer to another topic. Let me say hello to Dirk. And the title is purposefully ambiguous and not really that in depth of what I wanted to go into. So someone who just shows up in the stream won't understand what all I'm talking about. Now I want to, and I'm glad we have a sizable amount of people in here. I want to figure out how many times have you noticed a running theme where you propose an idea or um, you suggest something, and the response is not just to object to what you've said, but to not offer any solution of their own. How many times have you seen that? Say hello to Elliot and hello to O'Donoghue. The titles are. I'm glad we're keeping that regular status. I like that little joke. Um, the reason I gave it that title and the reason I've foregone talking about the embassy is because I sat here um, earlier this morning and I was, writing and doing other little stuff, and I was in the process of just checking out various videos online, and some are politics, some are just some of the people I haven't interviewed, just these actors, celebrities. Now, a running theme I've noticed when I go on most videos with a bunch of views is a person who says, insert name here is some negative thing that usually it'd be different if they said, I don't like this person because they did this, that, and the other. I mean, you'll have a guy who will come into the stream and will say, let's say the topic was about I don't know, relationships. They'll go, Justin is really ugly, and then they'll get removed and be happy to have come in there and said that. Um, but as I was sitting here and just kind of reading all of these different comments on people, I guess fitting the classical definition of haters, I came to the realization that why does it seem as if you can have this one person who is, well, I don't know about what responding to Envoy. What exactly do you think a troll is? Because I will fully concede I am no figure of great gorgeousness or anything. But I didn't think I was the worst looking man ever. Apparently, these uh, these women did, but that's a story for another topic. So just from someone saying that, I don't think they're a troll automatically. A lot of times when they say it, they actually can't refute any of the points I make, because thanks to the fact that most other people who come into the stream don't make um, videos, they don't know what the rest of you look like who've admitted to experiencing the same thing. Someone who would come on and leave a bunch of negative comments for the sake of it. Okay, well, even look, here's my thing. If a person comes on there and they write a post that, you know, actually is in. So, for example, if I went on the White House's YouTube page and I said Trump is awful because he's doing this, he's doing that, and he's doing this, um, and then you go and look all that stuff up, and I'm telling you the truth. Now, even though I insulted him in the process of telling the truth, it's still a factual thing of what I'm saying, at least partially. It has reasons. There's a method to the madness that you can clearly see when I lay down point by point what I would have a problem with him in that scenario, just as an example. But what I'm talking about is this running theme where I go on different websites. I mean, look, forget YouTube. I went on Instagram about 2 or 3 nights ago. Okay, well, Donahue, I'll make sure to go see both of them and hope that they both do better. Anyways, I'm talking about how I've gone on several websites, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, And it seems like every time, definitely on Twitter, a celebrity leaves a different post or comment. It could be two sentences. You will have an entire dialogue about how the celebrity sucks. Every time you hear about them, you want to throw up. Um, a good example would be that at the height of this was earlier in the year, the Hope Hicks scandal. Now this is significant, Dirk. I want you to pay attention to this. There was controversy over her dating. I think his name was Rob Porter, or whatever. This guy that was turned out to be this abuser of his wives, allegedly. Um, there was a fan account someone made on Instagram, and it was not her account. Now, I'm not going to link, I couldn't link it to the account if I wanted to because Instagram on the computer is just the worst thing in the world. But if you were to find this account, there were people who, I mean, woman left this comment talking about what your private area smells like. And I'm just thinking to myself, you are that incensed by a picture of this person to where you start going into territory all over the place. And that this is a recurring thing I've noticed where if I go on let's say I don't know a Bill Cosby interview from 20 years ago, you better believe that in the comments that have been posted in the last 4 or 5 years on that video, no matter how long before, how unrelated it is, they'll just start talking about the sexual allegations and um, popping off at the mouth about that. The envoy is saying "ew." Saberwolf is saying hello. I don't know who he's talking. He's saying hello to. Maybe me. Maybe everybody else. Uh, okay. Envoy says they're usually jealous and insecure. And Dirk is talking about trolls everywhere and creeps. Yeah. But and I don't. I'm trying not to get off topic. I want to tie this all into one thing. I truly believe that there was a time back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, you had innovators, you had people who, whether they were male or female, knew that to attain the way of life that they wanted, they were going to have to go out and actively do things. They couldn't rely on someone else to give them the information or anybody to do those things for them. And this is the center point of this. The same reason that you have people um, who call themselves despising you. Okay, blue pixel. Oh, hey, I don't know how I got here. I don't either. So you can stay if you want. If you don't, or I probably won't even notice because the way it usually works is that one person will come in or will go out and then someone else will come in and then just I wouldn't even be reflective of who all is attending or checking us out. So I think the same reason that people have opted to, okay, Dirk is over there trying to make conversation with them. Oh no, I'm pretty convinced after seeing all of the different commenters that have been on. I mean, people leave these comments where they start talking about their own experiences with, relationships, be they platonic or romantic. I've had to actually I've contemplated just releasing screenshots of private messages I've had where you'll be amazed at how I had one guy say, "Oh yeah, man, I want to keep in touch." I sent him a message the day after that. Months go by, you don't hear anything from him. Um, and I guess what I'm trying to effectively convey here is that the same reason you have people who say they can't stand, my stuff or the stuff of whoever else, yet still find themselves lingering on that person's content, is the same reason why you have these women that post online about, I want a good man, and then they turn every guy down that approaches them. It's the mentality of I am saying something opposed to what I'm doing. No one who's really that disgusted with my content or anyone else's would frequent it and check it out and sit up in the chat room and argue for an hour, as one person did about what was that 2 weeks ago? I think you know what I'm referring to. Um, I think VVS, if he was here, would probably remember. Too many options for their own good. Yeah, but it's not just them. It's Again, the why are you always? Hey, that's my those are my colors. Flying Iceman. I don't know about fans. I have people that occasionally come and say something or just communicate. Yeah, again, that's part of the mentality I was talking about, Envoy. This thing where we can't speak on the matter of substance, and also I want you to understand when people come in here and do that, it's purposely done to get a reaction out of those who are checking the content out at the same time. Because if that was really an issue of concern, he would go over to my private messages and send that directly to me to, you know what it was. Yo, Donahue says, I remember when you used to sit in was blasting. Uh, I mean, I'm not any different setup from now. People don't always talk about substance because it usually requires brain power. Pretty much. Um, and even with that stream topic, I couldn't. I knew if I made the one about the embassy, I wouldn't have gotten 13 people in here. I would have had half of that. But I have to try and squeeze in little political stuff here and there whenever you have these discussions about things in general. And at the same time, people get confused and go, "Why did you go into this? Why did you go into that?" Well, if I go into these things separately, um, people get disinterested. That's why you had two people leave right now. Is to get lit or be on, be sheep. Pretty much, but what I'm trying to convey here, and it gets a little bit harder to do this when I'm trying to respond actively to the chat, is that with a lot of these modern day people, a lot of the guys that don't want to be committed, women that say they want committed guys and then go for the opposite, it follows a narrative that you don't want to take the time to try and create anything with a person who's willing, and so you frolic and flock to someone who's not actually interested in doing that, but you find the challenge of trying to sway them appealing, and so you're going to maybe can trick your own self into thinking, well, I can change them into wanting to construct something with me. When in reality, all they want to do is go and break stuff up and make sure that you live in the same scenario forever. You know, um, I think I mentioned beforehand that I've very much in multiple occasions, and I can verify this by screenshots, had women who have come on this channel and we'll talk about, oh, I'm so interested, blah, blah, blah. And then you talk to them later on that day and they go, well, I don't think this will work out because A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. They'll find tens of reasons for why they can't try. It'd be different if we said, you know what, we went out here, we tried to, I don't know, court and get married, and we were going out on some dates for a couple of weeks, and it didn't work out, but we both put effort into it, and we both feel mutually happy with the fact that we made an attempt to get to know each other. No, it's none of that at all. It goes from hi, hello, would you like to try da 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 da? Oh no, thank you. And then you go up to another person, hi, hello, would you like to do da 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 da? No, thank you. Why do you want not to put? Because it's. I think I've already answered that, Elliot. And I'm going to respond to VVS after this. There are multiple things a man who is not in a relationship cannot do. A man cannot have children by himself. A man cannot. Well, I guess he can, play with himself, but I'd rather not. So there's a wide variety of things that all of these little groups um, try to pretend isn't factoring into why someone would still actively try to go out and do those things. And also, Elliot, there's with most things I want, it's something I consistently will advocate and push for and talk about over and over again. I want money out of politics. So every time we do a political video, I start talking about the corruptness of both of these different parties. I want a solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. So every time I talk about Israel, I mention, hey, you know what? That prime minister in Israel is awful. He's horrible, and here's reason A, B, C, D. Am I one? I've tried to like that, but it's just not self, so it doesn't work. But you can't be that way. Uh, I don't even know what people like. I appreciate the attempt at advice, person I've never seen before, but I don't know what they want anymore because I've had people say, well, you know, you can't stop talking to them because if you do, nothing will happen. And then you don't talk to you go out and talk to them. You get turned down by like five or six of them in 2 or 3 days that you asked it for the number. Um, then if you go and talk to, hey, that's a good question, O'Donohue. What did happen to him? Then if you go and talk to, or rather, don't talk to any of them, and you get nothing out of someone, like, you gotta focus on yourself. Gotta make sure that you're getting your things done. Forget the fact that she's living in the cardboard box, and the only reason she has anything is because of the guys that she dated that she was able to get cash off of. You gotta make sure you have your stuff. So all of it, I don't buy it. I think there's no one way to solve this. I've been over that before. Okay, let me see. Dirk says if you wanna, yeah, I think I've explained my reasons for not wanting that route either. I don't see how that's really that strange. If someone that someone would want to reproduce themselves, I don't get where that's weird, but okay. I know I'm supposed to just go on here and be misunderstood and explain my position over and over again, and even then still have people try to tell me how wrong I am for that view, even if what I actually said differs from what they're claiming I said. I had a guy who left that comment talking about, uh, I hope you get brutalized by officers after I said that we should also focus um, on the various in race murders. But, I while not distracting away from that issue as well, so focus on both. That was so offensive to him. Uh, okay, where's Envoy's comment? I have to. Well, society, it has a lot to do with that. I don't feel are as once they were from a standpoint. Oh, well, we know they're not, because of the divorce rates or whatever. Make a screen. People will say it's 100% your fault either way. Um, yeah, my vocabulary is all kind. A flying Iceman. Let's do it. My vocabulary is too good. I'm above average height, so I'm too tall. I'm the wrong blood type of typo. I live in the wrong state, California. Uh, what else can we pick out? You they will find a million and one ways to disqualify you, and I've just accepted that's how it is. I don't know what Dirk's saying. Oh my God, over. What's too nice? Oh, is that what they would say? To whatever they try. I know it's just flushed. Man, this is going in so many different directions. I don't want to dumb it down for a week and see how it goes. Yeah, I'll make sure to. First of all, most of them I don't even talk with for any long span of time anyway. If I'm just going down the street, I'll say, "Hey, hello, would you like my number?" How would they know anything about my grammar, my political positions, any of that? And it's really strange that you'll have people who will go on here and make it seem as if just by talking to this person once, again, they have, as I said with the other user, they have a window into your soul. They can tell what your occupation is. They can tell what your net worth is. All of these different things they're able to figure out from you speaking to them one time. I used to on how social media has helped, but also hurt relations with people. Um, I don't know. That screenshot one from earlier seems really tempting. I mean, I would just love to. cut out the names and then just go, this person said this person said that. You will be amazed by how many of these women that came on my stuff and said, "Oh, you look so good. Oh my God." In a matter of weeks, were just reverse, uh, and it was astonishing. I mean, I had one of them send when she sent me her resignation letter. I thought it was a joke. I thought she was playing some kind of early, gag on me. Well, no, I would make it to where it's about recurring themes that you notice and just messages people leave. I've had two of them leave really. I almost start to think they're the same person. You show people would still say you did something wrong, and then they'll say that you're you're forging the messages, so they'll try to like get me to reveal even more stuff about these people. Should be nice. Yeah, well, that takes actual editing, and I have to script that and put it all together. Um, if you look, and they fly. Responding to O'Donohue, I would have to have that person would have to have a personality that I was content with. Telling you, I've offered so many concessions on my idea of what is the pinnacle of what I would want that it's astonishing. People have been out of the religious barrier, they've been out of the race barrier, they've been out of um, just everything, and that's why when you get on here and you have people saying you're approaching the wrong ones, and this it's the Ferris wheel, and that's kind of what all of this is chalked up to. You will not see, and I can guarantee most of you this: if you go out and you say, I'm gonna build this house by myself, you'll build that house by yourself. If you say, what, I want to build this with five, six other people, you might get one to show up and start the construction with you. Um, because people have a certain interest in maintaining complacency, no matter how bad it is. That is why individuals such as myself have gone year after year of approaching and not approaching and being met with the same result, even in spite of watching all these different relationship advice gurus and oh, I'm the Dayton Jesus of the of Nazareth. So it is not, in my opinion, it has a lot more to do with the people who are being targeted here for these types of interactions because they're actively trying to not build anything with anyone or start something. Okay, what else is here? If you look decent, they rip on you more. Who are these people? I don't. Okay, we have Flying Iceman. We have Elliot. We have Enoch, whatever that is. I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't know who any of these people are other than Amino and Envoy and O'Donohue, who's trying to get all up in my grill now out of nowhere. Uh, I'm just gonna do this thing where I just start reading how many comments on here are just questions. Let's see, one from O'Donohue, one from Elliot, one from another one from O'Donohue, who's gonna be nicknamed the Questioner after this stream. Let's see. And I have to remember some of these you guys didn't put a question mark on. Okay, another one from O'Donohue about this guy's whereabouts. Let's see what else is here. 5, 6, 7. Man, it's a press conference. I don't. Hey, the problem with asking, what else do you want us to say? Well, you could comment on what I was speaking about. That would be very appreciative. I just think it's strange that if I talk about seemingly any other issue or thing, um, other than this stuff with the crappiness of current dating, you get maybe half of 10 people in there, and then when you start talking about this, all of a sudden all these different characters you've never seen before just start popping up like locusts. And I don't mind the ones that aren't trying to figure out my social security number. But I mean, after a while, you get kind of turned off by that. Let's see, are the niche of this channel? Yeah, and it's kind of funny. Every time I do one of the videos on the relationship stuff and get that kind of extra attention and backlash from five, six, seven guys, which is really bizarre because I would think that from my own rhetoric it would be females who are more upset by this, but instead it's guys for whatever reason. I get more encouraged to just make it all about the political stuff because I know most of them can't talk about that other than just so I'm not worried about having 30 people try to attack you. What made you bring up the original topic? Someone so I wrote an entire piece. Um I'm not going to say what it was about, but you can probably figure out what it was. It was a historical event, and I was told to summarize it in make it be halfway the length or whatever. I followed the model, in my opinion, that other people have had, and this guy just deleted my entire thing while leaving a comment that it was a bit too much. But if it was a bit too much, why would you delete the entire thing? So things like that, where you sit there and you actively put effort into something just to have someone rip it all away. That's what actually can annoy me. I told you guys about this one woman I was talking to late last year. Um, let me see. I don't know what but I do like. Down here says I'd like the dating theme. Oh, I know you do. That's what everybody likes more. I don't know what CX what Saberwolf is calling petty, but no, I had spent 3 months writing that thing because you have to go and look up articles um, for that topic. And so when I finally started doing that summary, and it's only taken about 2 3 hours this morning, and I go, oh yes, I finally finished this. I'm so glad. And then you come back maybe 3 4 hours later, and you read this comment, and you start staring at that screen because I almost thought maybe there's something going on with the computer. No, just it was all gotten rid of. More people can relate to the day. I know they can because they don't go out of their way to try and actively figure out any of this stuff. And she wanted to start. Would you really say? It would depend on who that person is. These questions, after a while, I can't find anywhere on the internet. Hey, send me a direct message and you'll get a link. It would depend on who the person was to answer Elliot. I'm just gonna meet someone one day and go, "Hey, let's get married tomorrow." No, it doesn't work that way. I do believe that if two people actively try to learn about each other over the course of months, just day after day, trying to figure stuff out and disclosing and all of that, I think that's much more suitable. So because you have to understand with most um, relationships, I think the majority of you do. This is platonic and romantic. Both sides have to willingly put effort into it. That's why I don't have that many individuals with whom I consider, friends or anything above acquaintances because most people, while they're not bad individuals, just bad, uh, you know, humans, they're not going to attempt to reach out to you as much as you might to them, and you might do the same thing to one of them. Some people want to learn about you have for stream, well, sometimes, very rarely, Dirk. I mean, I could literally do 5 days of political stuff, and I might get maybe 10 views, and then if I do 100 days of romantic stuff, where all I do is come home and say, "Hey, I got rejected today, and this is what happened," it will get maybe 5 or 6 times the amount of attention and playback. So it is an ongoing. It's a really sad saga because it basically says you will get more. I ask questions for the political ones. O'Donohue claims. Well, whether or not that's true, I'll have to go back and read his comments in previous streams to verify his claim. Or am I just getting ignored? The Top Chef filter might have censored mine. Okay, well I haven't touched any of your stuff and I haven't seen you comment since. Okay, family oriented or rare in the. Okay, I agree with that. Um, I think that's about it. So I'm not ignoring any of your stuff. I've actually said people will leave a comment and then the automated system will go. So it's probably the uh, the server. I didn't dodge any question. I think the deal was good. Again, I'm not, and also I made a separate stream where I talked about why it was dumb for the U.S. to pull out of that. So even if you thought I was, what you didn't know what my opinion was, you could have gone on there and seen it. Yeah, I already explained why in another stream. So, all right, guys, I'm getting a little tired, so I'll probably just end up wrapping this up. Um, in summary, I'm bothered by the fact that I can go and try to create something, and if it's just me doing it, I will and see. Okay, well, this is another. I saw it was. Let me respond to Flying Iceman. Here, I have a tip for you, and this is just something that a lot of people need to realize. We already had what you're attempting to do there happen a couple of weeks ago, where someone will come in here and try to argue back and forth and have what they call a debate um, with me about something, and it just I'm done with it. So if there is a true willingness on your part to want to communicate about that topic, you can write a comment. Maybe I'll respond, maybe I won't. But you'll have a higher chance of response at that point than right now. It's just the way it is. I mean, I don't get the going back and forth thing. You're not going to change my mind. Um, so, anyways, in conclusion, I am tired of the fact that you have people who just don't want things to change. They'll actively complain about things. They'll say this is horrible, awful, but they don't make the effort to do anything about it. And I've tried to rectify that scenario in my own activities, but it gets frustrating when you have people who, as I mentioned earlier when I was asked that question about, what made me do the topic's title or do the title of the topic or, compose this stream. I sat there for months gathering information, and I was so dumbfounded to see it all erased by this person. The main thing I put together after the months was there, and you might argue, oh well, why are you so upset about a couple of hours of work being gotten rid of? Well, it's the fact that um, your argument about it is that it's too long, but then it's shorter than all the other creations that are in that same category. All the other portions that were written were larger than the one I wrote in their word length. So it felt ridiculous to me, but well, respond to Elliot. I'm not necessarily beating myself up because the person who did that didn't contribute anything. That's again where all of this ties in. That you have people who aren't doing anything themselves who will go and get mad at the person who tries to change something or create something or try to get in the way of that effort. And that's exactly what was done here today. So, what was no, Amino. Um, again, the exact specifics of what was gotten rid of do not change the fact that the person who removed it was making no attempt whatsoever to contribute. It was just, I'm gonna play the leader and You have to accept it, even if the argument I make is both factually wrong in terms of other examples of what's been written on there before, or concurrently, and you've also seen me do nothing of that measure or that scale. Then the famous quote like that applies. Yeah, it's very applicable here, but I intend to maybe make a separate stream relating to something else soon. Um, I just get so tired of it. I get tired of working on all of these various things, and whether it doesn't get checked out or not, I don't care. But it's the fact that you have people who actively try to make sure stuff is halted, it's put off, and they themselves aren't doing a single thing to rectify the scenario, to compose anything themselves. Would you ever do a collaboration with your fans? I don't have any. I have subscribers. That's it. Um, yeah, I'm sick of it, and I've tried to push forward with one thing starts acting up. You go, okay, well I can't do this anymore, but I can do this. You know, in the scenario of the romantic thing, I may not be able to attract one of these various women or whatever, but I sure can talk about this current event that's going on, and research and look into it. Um, Shutting from the sky, yeah, it's the same thing, but it goes back to the fact that the people who are making these claims and criticizing what you are and what you do are not doing anything themselves, male and female. I mean, it is like I've said. I know. Oh, Bra Vulture, he's making his once in a blue moon cameo on the live stream. Yeah, I'm getting ready to actually end the stream. If you want to know what I'm talking about, you can, I guess, watch the replay. Maybe I'll just start writing a little paragraph to put in the description box. Never spend a day around me, but they know everything about me. That's what it feels like. You know, because on that same, can we do? You'll again have to private message me. I'm not responding to this right here. People don't. I'm just gonna get to a point where I just start having a little banner in the background that just gives rules about chat participation. No, you should enable bell notifications, Bro Vulture. I'm very disappointed. I almost thought you grown tired of my topics. You said, you know what? As that one user said a couple of months ago, I'm too my stuff is too dry. It's not moist enough. Well, he didn't say moist, but it was too dry. So